Hello, welcome back to my training room. This is Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is July 7, 2020. Now, when we talk about self-defense, we often imagine ourselves with something like pepper spray or a very sharp knife or something that is easy to use. But what if the only thing you have at hand is short and blunt and not all that damaging to begin with? How do you use that to its maximum potential? Something like this short wooden training knife I have in my hand. Let's say someone suddenly comes at me with a real knife, and all I have is this wooden blunt knife that even if I stab someone with it, it's not likely that it's going to penetrate all that well. Now, if I get them in the face, then this might actually do some good. But for the most part, if you have this and someone comes at you with a real knife, you might be thinking, this is not good. Can't do it. How can I use this against a real thing? Well, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I'm some kind of a blade master that I can use a wooden training knife and defeat 10 people armed with katana or machete. What I can tell you is, it's not totally hopeless if you know how to get the most out of something like this that's short and blunt. First and foremost, the most important thing is to realize what this is good for and what this is bad for. What is it good for? Well, it's pretty solid, it's pretty blunt, uh, it fits okay in the hand. So most likely, if I mess up and the person get a hold of it, he's not going to be able to turn it upon me and stab me to death with my own knife, because, well, it's hard to stab anyone to death with a fake knife. So I have that to my advantage. If he get a hold of it, his chance is really not much better than mine. Secondly, I know this is pretty solid, so if I have to block with it, if someone throw a punch at me or an elbow at me, I all I have to do is try to interpose this between myself and whatever they're hitting me with, and I have a pretty good chance of blocking whatever they're doing without getting injured. Believe me, I once threw a punch at a guy and had him stop my fist cold with a can of soda. Yeah, pun intended. Stop my fist cold with a can of soda. And I hurt for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I thought I'd broken my knuckles actually. So having something short and blunt is good for blocking if you have to. Also, advantage is it's easy to carry. You're less likely to get arrested by a policeman. You're less likely to get stopped by security guards. And if you know how to use it, a short, blunt object can generate quite a bit of blunt trauma and be used for pain compliance. Now, what it is bad for is if you go up against something that's really long, like a baseball bat or a machete, they will have way more leverage than something short like this. So I do not want to meet them with my short tool with their long tool, because even if I use my arm, if you can see, I swing my arm, which is longer than this training knife. I swing my arm and I meet it with the training knife. the knife is already wavering in my grasp because it doesn't have enough leverage to stop something longer, stronger that way. So if someone swings something bigger at you, you need to have this blunt object flat back against your forearm and meet it this way with your forearm behind the object, like that, like that, like that. This way it won't get jolted out of your grip. Your own forearm is behind it, giving it stability, and it's between your forearm and the incoming object. So your forearm won't get hurt. Of course, like we already said, this is bad for penetration or cutting. So I'm not going to fool myself into I can use this for that. Keep that in mind. Of course, the reach is shorter. We have to keep that in mind too. Now, if I was to hit someone with this, where would I want to hit? Because it's a short, blunt object, I do not want to go for anywhere that might have too much muscle mass. So if I am using this for self-defense, I'm not going to want to hit the person on the shoulder or on the chest or in the belly with this. Those places is going to hurt, but most likely not going to stop the person. Most likely what you're going to end up with is a very, very angry person. So with something like this, like a short training knife or a short stick, uh, something like these, you want to aim for the bonier part of the body, right across the face, right over the wrist, the back of the hands, the knuckles, the elbow out. Yeah, that actually hurt. I didn't even hit it that hard. Collarbone, knee, shin, anywhere that is bony, that is not padded by fat or muscle. That's where you want to aim for. So yes, it does take a little bit of precision. Now let me show you guys how to strike with something like this, because this is the main focus of what I want to talk about today. In most striking, cutting, slashing weapon with the example of stabbing weapon, you do not want to have a death grip on it. What do I mean by death grip? I mean, if I hold on to it as tight as I can, my wrist straight, my arm straight, and I swing it hard, swing it. Huh? Why do we not want to have the death grip? Let me show you on this training dummy. If I hold it really tight and I try to smack the dummy with it, take a lot of energy and it's not really making that much impact. Okay? As opposed to if I loosen everything up, if I let my hand swing loose, much louder, use much less energy. So what you want to do is get rid of your death grip. We want to hold this knife nice and loose. You don't want to drop it, of course. So we close our finger around it, but give it some wiggle room in our hand. Our wrist loose, our elbow loose, our shoulder loose. When I go in, I only tense up at the point of contact. Like that. Even if I do it on my own hand, you'll be able to tell. Okay, I hold it tight, I swing, 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 swing. Okay, I'm swinging almost full force, holding this tight at my own hand, at my own hand, at my own hand. Okay, does it hurt? Yeah, a little bit, but I can take quite a few of those. Now, if I loosen up, out, yeah, no, not going to do that again. So it's going to be the same on an opponent. You loose it up, whip it out, okay? Wait for the proper opportunity, wait for their hand to get in range, whip it down on their hand, wait for their leg, whip it down on their leg, their face, whip it across their face. It's going to work just fine. So stay loose. Don't waste a lot of energy tensing up. Don't waste your energy using that death grip. Okay? A second way you can strike with a short blunt weapon is to let a bit of it protrude from the bottom of your fist, aka your hammer fist. And we are going to hammer with this. And we're going to hammer with this. We're going to hammer, hammer, hammer with this. Hammer with this. Okay? Normally my hammer fist already have a lot of force. Now with this hard bit of wood poking out the bottom of my hammer fist, it's going to break bone if I connect with this. If we turn this around and let the blunt, little bit of blunt uh, butt or edge poke out of the top of our fist, aka the thumb, the top, the thumb part, we swing it across into the face, into the rib, into the face. Okay? That, again, is going to do a lot more damage than if you try to stab with this. So there's more than one way to use something like this. You can whip it, you can hammer it, or you can turn it around and hit it with the top. This same stuff applies to a lot of things. Hairbrush, screwdriver, hammer, drumstick, almost any blunt object that is shorter than a foot, and of course longer than 4 inches. If it's shorter than 4 inches, you might as well just use it as a fist filler and weigh your fist with that. So anything that roughly 7, 8, 10 inches, like this wooden training knife, you can maximize your striking potential by whipping it, by hammering it, by flipping it around, and jabbing it. Don't forget, you can also block with it. But when you block, you want to lay it against the bottom of your forearm, like this. Meet with your forearm, with this acting like a small shield. Don't just hold it out and try to parry attacks like you were holding a sword, because you're not going to be able to make it work, and you'll lose your weapon if you hold it out and try to deflect it this way. Thank you for checking out today's Tactical Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. For now, have a good night. Stay safe.